This is section 7.3, day 1, and today we're going to start talking about similar right triangles. Up until now, we've kind of talked about right triangles and how we make them, doing a lot with Pythagorean's theorem. Today we're going to talk about what happens if we were to split them into similar shapes. So using a little bit of the stuff that we knew back in chapter 6 about similar triangles. So the first theorem that we're going to talk about just says that if an altitude is drawn to the hypotenuse, so just meaning if you draw the height of a triangle, then the two triangles formed, this guy right there, and then the kind of the medium-sized triangle right there, are similar to the original, the big one, and each other. So you kind of created three similar triangles, a small, a medium, and a large. And that's the main thought that we're going to use moving forward, is being able to draw all three triangles and labeling them so that you can talk about the shapes. So the first example says, identify the similar triangles. We're going to draw all three of them. And when I teach this to kids, I say you're going to draw three triangles, one small, one medium, and one large. They all need to sit the same way. That means I always put my short side on the bottom and then long side to the left. They all need to have their 90-degree angle. And then we're going to work on putting all of these letters onto these shapes. So the first triangle we're going to look at is just the little one. So I look at where the 90-degree angle is first. And if you were to cover that up, you really can't see where the 90 is. Oops, I'm kind of overlapping it. It kind of looks like it might be there, but that whole thing is not inside the triangle. So I'm just going to use this to cover it up. So our 90-degree angle is actually right here, which happens at the letter J. So I'm going to put a J where the 90 is. Then I look at the rest of the short side, and the short side is F. So F to J would be the short side of the triangle. So if I already have a J there, then my F has to be there. The other letter on my little triangle is the G at the top. Next, looking at the medium triangle, this one right here, it can get a little confusing with both of these boxes in there, but this is the only one that's a full box. This one's kind of like got chopped by that line coming down. So my right angle is at J. Put a J on the right angle. And then the short side, this is the long side, this is a short side, so G goes at the other end, and then H at the top. Lastly, you're going to look at the big triangle, the overall shape, trying to ignore that GJ right down the middle. Try to ignore that. So your right angle is happening at G. Your short side is F, and then H at the top. And we're going to do this repeatedly for a lot of stuff. When we do it for the next one, then we're going to put some letters and numbers on there, and we're going to attempt to solve for different variables. So that's kind of how we do the first one. I'm also going to write for you the similarity statement, and we've done this before too. So triangle GJF, I'm just going to go down the left side and then to the bottom, is similar to, and I got to keep that same pattern going, so HJG is similar to HGF. That is a similarity statement. You're just telling me who is similar to who. Make sure the letters are going in the right order as well, because you want to match them up the right way. Next it says identify the similar triangle, so that's what we're going to do. That's the same thing up there. And then find the value of X. So I'm going to draw my three triangles. One small, one medium, and one large. Got my 90-degree angles on there. You can definitely tell that this is the short side and that this is the long. So looking at just the tiny little triangle here, the little one, I've got my 90-degree angle at K, my short side is L, and then the long side is M. I'm also going to put my letter or my numbers on there too. So my long side is X, my hypotenuse is 5. Looking at the medium triangle, so this one right here, I've got a K at my 90, M is the short side, and J is the last letter. On that triangle as well, I have X on KM, so where KM is, I'm going to put an X. And I also have JM being 12. That 13 doesn't work on this medium triangle because it goes all the way to the end, so that's a big triangle only. Now we're on the big triangle. So my M is at my 90-degree angle. Put an M there. Short side is L, and then the last letter is J. LM is 5, so right there's a 5. I've got the long side being 12, and then the hypotenuse, that right there, is 13. And then using a little bit of our work from chapter 6, we're just going to match up sides in order to solve the proportion. So looking at this, you can pick either X, it doesn't matter. I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to say x goes with 5. And once I pick this x and this 5, I have to stay in these two triangles. So you can kind of cover this guy up. If I'm going to use medium big, then I have to use medium big again. I can't come and use small. So I'm going to use medium big, and I got to match up 2 more sides. And the only 2 sides that go together would be 12 and 13. And then just doing my cross multiply and divide, so 5 times 12 gives me 60. And then you've got 13 times x, which is 13x. So 60 divided by 13 gives me about 4.6. One more time we're going to do this. It says identify the similar triangles, same thing, small, medium, large, and then we're going to find the value of x. Small, medium, large. In this small triangle, my h is at my 90, short side is my e, and g is the tall side. 3 is the hypotenuse and x is the long side. Second triangle, this one right here, there's a 90 at h, short side is g, and the last letter is f. Short side is x, hypotenuse is 4. Last side has short side, letters first, 90 at g, short side is e, long side is f. Hypotenuse is 5, short side is 3, long side is 4. So pick an x to begin with. I'm going to pick this guy. So this x goes with this 4. Got to match a tall side with a tall side. And if I use these 2 triangles, then I can't use this guy. So I'm going to cover it up. And the only other 2 sides I have that match is this 3 with this 5. So doing 3 times 4, I get 12. And then 5 times x. And 12 divided by 5 is 2.4. So I know it seems tedious, but if you really take the time to draw those 3 triangles, small, medium, large, and take the time to do that, I think you'll have better and more success trying to solve these problems.